Spoiler alert, the following podcast includes discussions on film that may potentially, intentionally or inadvertently, reveal plot twists, character traits, story details, up to and including endings that might otherwise be considered spoilers. Proceed at your own risk.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Put your right hand in the box.
What's in the box?
Fame.
What you looking at?
I know it. It all sounds like some bad movie.
That's how I felt like that opening went. Holy shit.
I'm just exhausted at the fact that even the trailer to this fucking movie is way too long.
It's like 3.5 minutes.
Even the trailer's got a voiceover. What the fuck?
Oh god, you didn't love the voiceover?
Oh.
Every waking thought?
No,
Why?
that's yeah, well,
I love it. It's like, why do they want the Duke's son killed? He thinks it. Then, in the very next scene, but why do they want the Duke's? It's like, if you don't know what you're getting into from the very beginning with that, I'm sorry. I don't feel bad for you.
I need to correct you.
Yeah.
I believe in that scene he actually says it and then thinks it in the same scene.
No, I think he thinks it first, then says it. I'm almost positive of that.
But in the same scene. It's not even like the other one where we go to the one scene later I wonder what will happen. It's like the exact same thing that they said earlier is thought. It's not
Right.
like it's even worse than that because it's like literally a minute later, and we're still in the same scene. You haven't had time to even pretend to forget that they said something. Anyway, welcome to Moviesucktastic.
Welcome, everyone.
We've been on a short holiday or summer holiday hiatus, but we're back with a vengeance, and we're doing Dune. Not
Yes.
just any Dune, but the 3-hour fuck your eye sockets to death version of Dune.
Which it seems most people will really enjoy the extended version, but Scott. Now this is a film I watched a lot as a kid.
Can we verify most people? I don't think most people enjoy a 3-hour version of Dune or even a 2-hour version of Dune. I think most Dune fans enjoy the 3-hour version of Dune.
I think sci-fi fans. You don't have to like the book.
Same thing.
Come on. I don't think so. You know, it's funny. I know I'm jumping around, but I can't help but Kyle MacLachlan. That's his name, right?
Yeah, Kyle MacLachlan.
Okay. He 2 times in the movie he goes, "Father!" And I just can't help but think of
IT Crowd.
IT Crowd. Denham's son, "Father!" Oh my god. Especially near the end of the film, he says it twice. "Father! Father! The sleeper has awakened." I could just see what's his face from IT Crowd doing that exact line, and it being hilarious.
The sleeper was me, almost. Jesus Christ!
It didn't awake you, this movie?
It awoke something. My passion for not watching it. Now, I did.
yes.
I did my research and I read a bunch of stuff on how the long haul, like 23 years or so of them trying to make Dune and all the different versions and different drafts and different productions that never got off the ground, and including Jodorowsky's.
Jodorowsky's probably the most famous version of that. He wanted to make it in the worst way. He had an entire team put together, and what ended up happening was he had this huge storybook, beautiful artwork. If anyone's seen the documentary Jodorowsky's Dune, you get to see it. I think there's only 2 or 3 of these storybooks in existence, and he has one. And they go through the entire storybook in the movie and what he wanted to do and who he wanted to get, and he had the funding, and he had the cast, he had the crew. I mean, he had fucking H.R. Geiger ready to put his touch on this film, and just slowly but surely, they lost interest in having it made. It just, like what you were saying, it took forever to get it made, and his entire team was dismantled, and as he put it best in the documentary, Hollywood started stealing the crew that he put together to make Dune, and they started using them for other projects, like Alien, I should say, and other projects and whatnot. So it could have been something amazing, but it just did never happen.
Now, I want to...
I did hear, though...
Yes?
If I can just interject real quick, that...
I was interjecting. You're still going.
I was interrupting?
No, I was interrupting. You're still going.
Oh, no, it's please. I read that, and this is all just fucking smoke up someone's ass until it actually gets done or approved or budgeted. They want to make Jodorowsky's Dune exactly how he has it from the storybook, the storybook and whatnot.
That's because now they could do that for like
20,
peanuts.
30 million. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, they did pull out of Jodorowsky's version, just like the other ones. The reason they pulled out of Jodorowsky's is because, like any artist, making a big budget sci-fi film, and Terry Gilliam is a textbook example of this. If you don't have someone there to put the reins on him, he goes fucking insane.
Right.
I mean, when you watch the documentary and they go through all this stuff, first of all, he was just making shit up from whole cloth. He didn't. At one point, he just like abandons the books. Whatever. I'm making this and that. And the whole races and planets that weren't even in the book, which I don't care. But like they said, if they tried to make the film the way he wanted back then, you're talking. $300 million. They didn't have the technology to do it back then. He was doing shit that was they didn't have the technology to make the Dune that we see today.
Right.
Which is painfully evident when during the interstellar travel sequence. As I like to call it, the worm shitting sequence.
Perfect example of what you're saying, how the budget would be so high, is for years, back in the 80s, even like the early 90s, Schwarzenegger wanted to make this epic film called The Crusades, or just Crusades. And it was always just, are they going to make this movie? Are they not? But it was rumored that if they were going to make it the way he wanted to, it was going to cost anywhere from $300 to $400 million. And that's why it never got made. Because back then it was not a lot of special effects. I mean, you had special effects and you can use miniatures, but most of the shit then were the way he wanted it. It's hard days out in the desert, out in just outdoors, sets left and right. I mean, building entire towns like fucking Michael Cimino, for Heaven's Gate. It's like he builds a town and he's like, I don't like it. They tear it down and they build it again. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? It's like, come on.
That there's always a project like that going on at any given point in Hollywood, and it's always these guys, like Jodorowsky, or it's just these huge epic ideas they want to do, and like they're hell bent on making it. And meanwhile, you've got money people all over the place, like, no fucking way. What are you crazy?
And it's amazing to see a movie cost, over 200 million these days, because you don't really need to spend that kind of money anymore. And if you do, it is because you're building a lot of sets, and it is because you're using the absolute latest technology for your CGI and or your graphics. Or actually the same thing. But you know what I mean. It's what movie came out over this summer? Like Avengers, for instance. The new one, 150 million. It only I saw the movie. I'm like, wow, I thought this was going to be like 250, 300 million, 150. Because they can do that easily. So if a movie costs more than that, like John Carter of Mars, it's like, why the fuck did this cost $325 million? There's no need for that shit. That movie is all CGI. I don't think there was one real set in that fucking thing.
No.
Or one real locale, I should say.
Speaking of that, can I make a quick confession? I keep going back and watching like the last half hour of Battleship.
What? It's the AC/DC song. You started from the AC/DC song, don't you?
You better fucking believe I do. Yeah. As much as we lambasted that movie and hated it and tore it apart in the show, and as much as it is a bad fucking movie, every now and then I'm like, yeah, I want to watch this. Just put it on.
I'll admit, I own it. When they bring in those old guys and then just fucking AC/DC, it's just like, all right, I'm in.
Slather AC/DC on it. Make sure it's directed well and looks pretty, and anything will fucking fly.
Now you know what you're gonna do. I'm gonna watch it after we're done recording. That's what I'm gonna do. you bastard. I'll have to do it with the headphones because it'll be at like 11 o'clock. But I'm gonna do it now.
We're gonna die. You're gonna die. I'm gonna die.
But not today. It's like, wait, what? Yeah, nice speech, Taylor. Go get me a fucking burrito.
I'll even give him credit for that one line after the battleship sequence where he say, "Art of war, fight the enemy where they're not." That's not what that means. So what? Not even close. I like that. That was like a nice little, like a gleaming moment of like good screenwriting coming through. So, that was good. I like that.
Wow, someone probably they improv that line. It's like, wow, that's good. Let's keep it.
What I'm trying to say is that if Dune had an AC/DC soundtrack instead of Toto or whoever the fuck it was, Toto, wasn't it? Toto,
yes, it was. They didn't sing Africa. They just did their own music.
Just imagine Dune with a Queen soundtrack.
Right. It was a cool thing to do in the 80s to get real bands to do your movie soundtrack.
Yeah,
like
but it was
Toto cool and Queen. But
it was a cool thing to do with cool bands, not Toto.
Well, that's all they could get, I guess. What was the other band?
Asia Busy?
No, the band that did Manhunter. They did a bunch of films. Tangerine Dream.
Oh, Tangerine Dream. Sorcerer is my personal favorite of theirs.
Yep. No, that's great.
And they did that without seeing the film, which is weird.
Well.
At least that's what I read. I don't know if that's true.
I bet it is.
Yeah. But, I know we sidetracked for a second, but yeah, you always have these giant budget, these concept films or classic films that, look at iRobot. They were trying to make that since the 50s, and when they finally made it, it was a piece of shit because they didn't turn it into a family film. One of the books
made a lot of money though. They did make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. One of the books on my bookshelf
$50 million opening weekend.
One of the books on my bookshelf.
I'm listening.
That talks about.
We're all
That's just
listening.
the third time I tried to start that. That's all I'm saying. Is the greatest sci-fi movies never made, and it's got a bunch of stuff in there, and one of them is Dune, at least the versions of Dune that never got made.
So this was published after 1984?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
They mentioned it finally came out, but it's about all the other versions of Dune that never got made.
Gotcha.
So that's, this is one, and then as many people would argue, this one shouldn't have been made either. Now,
even David Lynch says that. He had his experience making this film was so bad that the studio, he shot hours upon hours of footage for this movie. Hours. The studio said that, and at the time, they were a little more strict about how long a movie was. You didn't really see a lot of movies entering past the 2-hour mark.
Yeah, we weren't in the Epic Age yet.
Well, and the thing is, too, it's not like we didn't have the multiplexes then like we do today. You didn't have a movie theater that could show it on 4 different screens, upwards 7-8 times a day. Back then, 1 movie theater, 1 screen, 1 movie. Okay, they might have had more screens, but your movie's only showing once on 1 screen every, whatever, this is 2.5 hours. That's it. Every 2.5 to 3 hours. So because it went over the 2-hour mark, David Lynch said that they lost 1 screening per day, which the studio was not happy about because he intended the movie to be a lot longer and he intended to get final cut. That's why this version, which is my challenge to you, is an Alan Smithy version because the studio put this cut together, not him. The 2-hour and 17-minute cut, which is the theatrical cut, he also didn't have final cut on that, but he knew that it would be career suicide if he didn't put his name on it because he had only made, 2 movies up until that point? He made Racerhead, I think it was Elephant Man, and then this. And that was it. It was at the very beginning of his career.
And Elephant Man had been a big movie for him, too, so that was
right. And he did have final cut on that. He said Mel Brooks gave him final cut. But he said he knew going into this, he had this bad feeling that he wasn't going to get final cut, even though it was a huge budget, $40 million budget. It just didn't work out. He just did not have any kind of, he didn't have a good time making this movie, and he's very public about it. He also said that in the past, he's thought about revisiting this and putting a definitive director's cut together, his vision with all the footage, and I'd love to see that. But he said that it left such a bad taste in his mouth that he doesn't do interviews about it anymore. He doesn't talk about it anymore. He just doesn't even want to think about Dune anymore. So I don't think we'll ever see a definitive cut from him. You know what? For this movie, unless he's got notes and then someone follows those notes.
Now, I went into this at a disadvantage because it's been so long and I never really cared about Dune that I don't really fully remember the original cut. So I don't know what was in this film that wasn't in the first film.
Well, here's the thing.
Now, please tell me that the 10-minute history lesson at the beginning of this,
the prologue, it is not in the theatrical. That is all added in. The opening of the theatrical is Virginia Madsen in space. Like the opening of the trailer, her talking. She gives you like a very quick.
Remember that? Yeah. There's a sand planet and there's some spice and that's it.
Yeah, it's like 2 minutes of her on screen talking about the Harkonnens. It's very brief.
I figured as much because I'm watching that prologue and all I can think is those are that's concept art. they just took the concept art. We're like 20 years away from the Watchmen animated comic.
What I always disliked about the prologue was the fact that they showed the actual book to Dune. It's like, well, wait a minute. I'm supposed to feel like I'm immersed in this world, and you're showing me a book. What is going on here? I'm not supposed to see a book. You're just supposed to show me a prologue of everything that's going on. It's like, what is this, fucking Disney? You're going to open it up and flip some pages too, you fucks? I mean, come on.
They should have opened it up. And
It's just like, I never liked that in the prologue. The opening of, or the book of, it's like, no. Yes, I know, it's Dune. It's Frank Herbert's Dune. I don't need to see the book. But yeah, the prologue is not in the theatrical cut.
And it's not even a nice copy of the book. It's like they just went to a paperback shop and bought a copy and said, "Right here,
here's the dust covers. How about you get a nice fucking leather binded one? Maybe one signed by Herbert. You cheap fucks. I mean, come on, Jesus Christ." The prologue isn't in there. And then after that, you get the narration, the guy that narrates the prologue, he narrates throughout the film a little bit. He's not in the theatrical at all. The narration, there isn't really any. There's just voiceover. The actual characters from the film do their own voiceovers. Which, I've never read the book Dune. Okay? So I don't know.
Fucking God.
I don't know if that's
worse. If there's anything worse than a fan of the film Dune, it's a fan of the book. Especially if they've read the book and watched the movie. I don't want to talk to you. Because
that would make for an awkward review. Okay, good night. Scott doesn't want to talk to me. Our friendship is apparently over. Thanks for listening to the last ever episode of Moviesucktastic.
Dude, it's like watching Highlander with a historian.
Oh no!
Or it's like, yeah, that never happened in 1970. Oh, I don't fucking care. People, because just try it sometime. Get a copy of Dune. Find someone who's read the book and liked it, and sit next to them and just wait, because eventually, the Harkonnen line, but they really what they don't tell there is about that, and there's a whole thing with the sister that.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, and I like the film.
The one thing I like about the book Dune is that apparently, the book the publisher didn't know. He wrote it was originally short stories, and then they collected them into the book, and the publisher, it was like they just published it and put it out. They were just cranking out sci-fis. No one realized, especially Frank Herbert, that the book was a cult classic for years.
Huh.
How do you not know? It wasn't like they released it as like, Dune, get it now. It was just like, okay, here's another paperback out there. 3 years later, he's bumping into people. Like, oh, you wrote Dune? Yeah. Where'd you hear about it? And the next thing you know, it's like, it's fucking 10 books and his sons are writing them. And,
so to answer your question about that, and so after you get through like the 10-minute prologue, there is another movie. The theatrical's 2 hours and 20. The version we watched is 2 hours 57. So that's an extra 37 minutes. 37 minutes? Yeah.
Sure.
No.
I'm not doing math.
47 minutes. It's an extra 47 minutes of footage. After the 10 minutes, you don't really get a lot of extra scenes that change the course of the movie. You get a lot of scenes that are just extensions of all scenes that are already in the film. Like you get that little bit of extra, information or that little bit of extra. The extended version doesn't change the whole, like some extended versions might be, wow, okay, that's different. That changes the way things, no, it's just longer. That's what it really comes down to. It's just longer. It starts, once they get out of the prologue, it starts the same way. Once they get out of at the end, the movie ends the same way as the theatrical. Nothing is different, really.
I noticed the difference, and I'm pretty goddamn sure I didn't fall asleep during this because I watched it in 3 segments to make sure. And with Holly, and by the way, she thanks you for that.
You're welcome.
From the original film, my father watching it when I was a kid and being on, the only things I had in my memory that I remembered was the first fight with the Lego armor.
Yep.
The Jello Lego, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The
Very Tron-ish.
Sting half naked, of course. the worm riding, him exploding somebody with his voice at the end of his Sting, and the fat guy floating around, and the famous a little spittle on your face.
Right. Which isn't in the movie. This cut.
Which is not in that.
I said that.
Right.
When I challenged it to you, it's in the Japanese cut that I have, which is like an extra 15 minutes longer.
It's in the original though, right?
Yes, it's
okay.
Shit, is it in the theatrical?
It's got to be in the theatrical.
It's got to be in the theatrical. It's very, very Lynch. But it's not in this extended. And I feel that it's not in this extended because the reason why it isn't in this extended version is because it was put together for television, and I probably felt it was too whatever. But it is in the Japanese cut that I have, which is actually, this is 2 hours and 57 minutes. The Japanese cut is like 3 hours and 12. It's like an extra 15 minutes longer than this one even. Which again, it's just more extensions of scenes. Plus the spittle scene is put back in. But I always, the guy that, the Baron, the guy that plays him, something McMillan, it's just growing up. It's like, is that Charles Durning? No, it's not Charles Durning. He could be his brother. For real.
Baron Harkonnen, right?
Yeah.
Kenneth McMillan.
Kenneth McMillan.
Yeah. Oh, and his son, or his nephew, the one nephew, not Sting.
The other guy, Smith.
Yeah. You know who he is.
Oh,
I called it.
He was Bluto in Popeye. He was in Crime Wave. Oh, I just broke out to going, I'm mean, you know.
Exactly.
I just out of nowhere, I'm just like, why am I singing? Oh, yeah, that's the guy from Popeye. And he was in Crime Wave, and he was in, if you actually want to see a good movie, not that Popeye isn't good, it's great, but like a serious movie, that's a better way to explain it, that he was in, see Midnight Express. He plays the Turkish guy.
He was also In-Laws. He was in the beginning of the In-Laws.
He was. But he always plays these large, brooding, barely speaks English people.
But I called it. He comes on. I tell Holly, "That's Bluto. That is Bluto." And I had to look
she
it up
fought you on it?
Oh, well, she didn't believe me. She didn't fight me, but she didn't believe me, and I proved it.
No way.
I told her. She said, "How'd you know that was him? It doesn't look anything like him." So I would, and I regret saying it, but I said it. Said I would recognize those lips anywhere. It's just his face, those lips. When I saw that,
she loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not.
Curfew. Lights out.
Then they just going on about taxes. Walking tax. Talking tax. Riding. It's like, okay, enough with the taxes.
And thumbtacks.
Oh, man. Great movie. Fucking great movie. Popeye. I revisit that more than once every couple of months. I watch that like once every 2-3 months. I love it. But yes, I knew that was him immediately. I always knew it was him. Just because I am a fan of the film Dune. But I'm like, yeah, he was Bluto in Popeye. He was in Crime Wave. He was in Midnight Express. And he's been in a bunch of other shit that just like low budget, nobody knows kind of stuff. But, yeah. So you,
Dune.
Dune, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dune.
Oh, now I know this is later in the show, but I just want to make sure. You do have a challenge for me?
Yeah.
That always takes you by surprise. I
have a challenge, and it's a bit of a cheat, but I have a challenge for you.
Okay. Did you see I posted some pictures today on our Moviesucktastic?
I just saw a couple of them before we started. I have not been online the last week, but
I had to do it, man. And that first one, the Michael Bolton one, I don't even know if that's really him, but I can't find anywhere that says it's not, so it's him.
It's not him, but it is. Yeah.
It really is him. The only thing I found that says it's not him, because at the end of the film there's like a drum line of people, and there's one guy that literally looks exactly like Michael Bolton, and if it's not him, it should be him. The only place online I could find is in some stupid forum where somebody says it's not him, and the reason I know is because I asked him, and he said it wasn't him. It's like
he'd admit it.
Like that. Like, first of all, you're telling me you just happened to hang out with Michael Bolton and you talked to him about Dune?
He shouted at him like as he was walking past the hallway because he was using the bathroom when he was playing at the concert.
Were you in Dune? No.
Dune. He's like, no pictures. That's okay. And like he would admit it. If would he? You think he'd admit it? Come on.
Yeah. Why not? He seems like he would.
I think he's a liar.
You think he's a liar?
Yeah. I've heard that Michael Bolton is a horrible liar.
Horrible liar. He's the best.
horrible. Just
Why
horrible.
should I have to change my name? He's the one that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't even know what that's from, do you? That's okay.
No.
I still love you.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Office Space.
Now,
Come on.
Office Space. I just recently got a copy of it because I haven't watched it in a while. And everybody keeps quoting. You know what the problem is when you like work with people that aren't movie people, and then they watch one film, and then that's the film they quote for the next 3 fucking years.
Oh no.
That was Office Space when I worked at the Lighthouse. That
is true.
You know, it's like I'm gonna burn this fucking place down the next time someone says I want my stapler. What the really?
Somebody got a case of the Mondays.
Like the one film in the past 5 years that's stuck in your fucking head. It's got to be this one. And
I hope that doesn't put a bad taste in your mouth about the movie because it is a great film.
I got to go back and rewatch it. It did put a bad taste in my mouth.
Damn it.
Film. Of it. I'll go back and rewatch it though.
That's good. That's good. It's a great movie.
Now,
all right. So go ahead. Let's continue.
Well,
yes.
when the worm riding, worm riding. David Lynch has to take the blame for that because when he would hop up on the worm and then they would throw the lines down, then they would just show the side shot and just show a line of guys running across the worm.
Yeah.
And if you put Benny Hill music over that, it fit fucking perfectly.
It's a big worm. What did they say? The biggest one was like 400 meters or something like that.
They were talking like in like.
They looked
weird...
way bigger than that too. They looked like they were 425 meters tall. Like you didn't do your math right, did you? Or you scaled them wrong.
I just did
here's Leonardo Cimino, or Meathead, as I like to call him. He's on screen now. He's the Baron's doctor.
Oh, the Baron's doctor.
Yeah. That's from my one meme.
The
Yes.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, obviously, because it's sci-fi. The movie, it just doesn't make any sense. The whole planet of just sand and the whole Messiah thing at the end where he makes it rain. Like, wouldn't that ruin the spice?
What, at the end? Yeah, that was his intention.
Oh, it was to ruin the spice.
Yes.
To ruin but why?
I don't know. Because the spice, he who controls the spice controls the universe. So I guess by destroying spice, you destroy anyone that wants to rule the universe. Hence, you incur peace. I think that's what they were going for.
Now they can't travel.
Well, I didn't. You didn't need it.
You didn't need
it. Well, I mean, the fucking brainy testicle-looking thing needed it to travel through time and space, but to just travel, you don't need it.
Was that whole interdimensional gateway scene in the first film? Because that was mind-numbingly bad.
Yes, that is in there.
And then they have like the character narration was like, and this is where they sent us through space. Like, yeah, we got that. There's nothing else. You're in spaceships. There's nothing else you can be doing but flying in space. But then like 2 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I'm glad they said that because if they hadn't said that, I would have thought they just flew there to watch these worms, spit rays at each other.
Well, yeah. Think of it this way: everything that's in the extended, for the most part, kind of is in the theatrical. They're just longer scenes.
Now
there are some scenes that are just omitted completely, but Now
I'm watching the film with Holly, and they introduce the mother and Kyle MacLachlan. They're there, and she says, and Holly says, "Don't they sleep? Don't they sleep together at some point?" I'm like, "That's his mother." She says, "Yeah, but don't they sleep together at some point?" And I'm thinking, I think they do. Now, of course, they don't. But then later, I'm doing my research, and in one of the failed versions of it, where the screenwriter had handed in an early draft where he made it where that the demon child at the end is the spawn of Kyle
Paul.
MacLachlan and his mother.
Yeah, Paul Mardib. Which,
Oh,
I'm sorry, that name sounds like he should own a smoke shop somewhere. Welcome to Paul Mardib's, where we have the spice of life. Come in. I'm Paul Mardib. I am your smoke master.
I'm gonna open a vapor shop right now,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna call it Paul Mardib's.
Just call it more Deebs.
Or Deebs. There you go.
Just more Deebs.
I thought it was funny that maybe we're both just assuming, yeah, they sleep together. The mother and son sleep together, and then later I find out there was a screenwriter who thought the same things. Yeah, they should sleep together, and that should be their kid.
Yeah.
That's why it's a whole mutant freakish thing.
There
It
you
made
go.
sense to me. So I like that because it's not just me. You know.
Yeah, you definitely had that.
It's something
that
about
Oedipus
those two.
kind of thing going on.
Yeah, and it's not just like, oh, there's a mother and son together. Those two actors and those two characters, whenever they're on the screen together, all you can think is, well, at some point they've got to fuck.
Yeah, he fucked the hair right off her head.
It's just there's something about those two. They have the wrong chemistry for a mother-son team.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
the other thing I never really liked in this either cut is the little girl, where it's like,
I
she's
like
got.
the little girl.
Well, no, they dubbed her voice because that she's like, it's like, hello, Mister, how you doing, Mister? It's like that's how she sounds. She's missing like 17 teeth, and her tongue just gets in the way of her mouth, and she just sounds like a little kid because she is. So they have to voice it over, and she's like, Paul Mardib is the one. It's like, but wait, really sounded Paul Mardib, he's the one.
I like the little girl, and I thought they did a great job with the voice. But now that you said that, I want to hear the original reading.
My brother, he's so cool. Like, no, stop. You can't say that. That's not in the script. Yeah, but come on. Paul Mardib.
That's got to be like an audio commentary when they do like the Ultimate Edition 10 years from now. It's the audio track of what she's actually saying.
God.
Now I want to hear it.
It's probably lost forever.
I don't know, David. Maybe David Lynch has it in a vault somewhere with the
He
little girl.
didn't have Final Cut, so I bet he doesn't have anything to do with this movie. I mean, what else could we really add to it? I mean, I like the film. I have this, attachment to it from my childhood. You don't like the movie. I know that. Most people don't like the movie. Sci-fi
Most
people
don't like it.
Yes, but I think a lot of people do like it, though. What did it get on IMDb, by the way?
6.6.
Yeah, that sounds accurate. I don't know if I could consciously give it a 7.
All right.
I like it because it's from my childhood,
Mistakes. David Lynch directing.
but as a reviewer,
Sting. Another mistake.
I like Sting in this.
Photo soundtrack. But what the fuck does he do?
He doesn't really do anything. He just looks menacing,
Right.
and they use him as a threat. I'm going to send you down. He goes, I'm going to send the other guy, your cousin, and he's going to fuck shit up, but wait till I send you to a planet. I mean, that was, the Baron is just like, then I'm going to send you. And they got their shit cut out for him. That's basically, he's a threat. And as to the entire film, throughout the whole thing, you just get the sense that Sting is a bad motherfucker.
Right.
And he's just evil, pure evil.
From a filmmaking standpoint, though, David Lynch puts a bunch of not headline actors in here. He gets a lot of foreign actors,
Right.
so no names there American audiences understand. Kyle MacLachlan, first film,
Yep.
right? So then you take this minor character and let's put Sting in there. Now, everyone knows who Sting is. They don't know who the fuck the lead actor is. And Sting is not whatever character he's playing. He's Sting. He's playing Sting. Because all he does is walk out and go, I'm Sting, without saying it.
Right.
And it just totally takes you out of the movie because all you see is Sting. If they put a red-headed, wiry motherfucker that nobody knew in there, it just would have been that character. But no, let's put Sting in there, put him in a role that requires no acting, and is only on screen for 5 minutes. So we don't have to pay him a lot. And then it's like they were desperate for name recognition. Like the studio's like, holy shit, we don't have any fucking names in this. We need something, anything. He was a mistake. Toto was a mistake. Making the film was a mistake.
It was, and Lynch has admitted that. Dino De Laurentiis and Raffaella De Laurentiis, who was the producer on the film, they control freaks. No final edit, no final cut. It just too big a budget. Just I think I read somewhere that they went in and compacted like quarter of a mile or 3/4 of a mile of sand for shooting, and it took 3 weeks to do it. Just like shit like that. How much did that cost? Yeah, because they had to shoot it out in the fucking desert because they can't CGI that shit. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the technology then.
I think the best quote is from Frank Herbert. I'm pretty sure it's Frank Herbert who said it. And I'm paraphrasing, that over the decades, many people have tried to bring Dune to the big screen. None of them have succeeded. pretty much telling Lynch to go fuck himself. I think.
He's like, you've made it, and you still fucked it up. You have not succeeded.
His daughter in one interview said, "Oh yeah, he succeeded," and everybody else is like, "No, you didn't. No, you're adorable, but no." So what do you want to? We're rating this 5, right?
Can we go 6?
No.
Can we go 6?
All right, you remember that I went 6 on this.
Yeah. Come on. Okay. Even though it was a mistake, even though the budget was too high, even though Toto did the soundtrack, you have to take a look. You have to take a look at what David Lynch had to work with, how it wasn't truly his vision, and he was still able to put out, in my opinion, a film that may not be enjoyable to all, but still, I think, well made, just the wrong direction. I think his intent was there, and they just sucked him dry. They took every ounce out of him. It could have ruined his career, but it didn't.
It does not deserve a 6. I'm only giving that to you because I want to avoid a half-hour argument. And don't get used to it, because next time I will stand my ground.
Of course.
But this film...
you know what? You talk me up to scores I don't want to, and I do the same thing. I don't want to debate this for the next half hour or 15 minutes, however long. I think one night, I don't remember the movie, but I said, you know what? I'm just too exhausted. You want to give it a 6? Give it a 6. I think it should be a 4, but 6. Let's do it. You like the writer. You like the screenwriting. Wonderful. Let's just do it. Let's move on and rate this motherfucker, and you can give me a challenge.
I suffered through 3 hours of this thing. I'm exhausted. 6 it is.
Okay.
And I'm just going to take a quick peek. Hold on. I just want to take a quick
let's
peek.
do the demographic.
I just out of curiosity, and highest rating is 7 across the board, which makes sense since it's 6.6. The demographics are boring as shit. Everything, they're all across the board at 6 point something.
Got a lot of 10s. 10,000. 10% of the vote is a 10.
That's your sci-fi fans.
Yeah.
Those fuck.
And the only wrong people.
The only demographic that's higher than 6 is IMDb staffers with 7.2. Those motherfuckers. Right there. There's the problem with IMDb staffers including their scores in here. Right there. 7.2 for Dune, where everybody else is like, 6 something.
Yeah, it's true.
Fucking... I'm gonna apply for a job on IMDb just so I can turn it down.
Well, and then they tell you how much you make, and you're like, all right, I guess I can live with it. All right, so I think we should end this.
Probably.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Well,
all right, everybody.
Fantastic Four got us a bit longer than we should have gone.
That's okay. Hey, I think people come to us for that. They come for the review. They come for the banter. They come for the fun that is the Moviesucktastic podcast. Go to our website at moviesucktastic.com. I just renewed that URL, so it's still around.
Hey!
We just celebrated our 6-year anniversary.
We did? Where was I?
you know what? Our 6-year anniversary is tomorrow. Yeah.
Shit. I'm getting a tattoo tomorrow. So there you go.
Oh, nice. That's our 6-year anniversary is tomorrow. You can go to our website at Moviesucktastic.com. You can download any of the shows there. You can listen to them right from the site, or you can watch us live every Thursday at 8 p.m. You can go to iTunes.com, or you can use the software that they offer and do the same thing. Well, except listen to us live. You still have to come to our website for that.
Right.
You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Moviesucktastic. You can go to our Tumblr page at moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. If you want to leave us email, the address is themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. If you want to leave us voicemail, that's 908-514-4470. 908-514-4470. You can download the free Android app for your phone. You can get everything I just said right on there. And I know I keep saying it, but the mobile version of the website is coming for all the iPhone users.
Still coming.
It's coming, but I'm almost done with it. I did go on vacation recently, so I didn't work on it. That's coming too. And that about does it. Our review for next week, the film is It Follows. That's Scott's challenge to me, based on theme, which is god-awful boring. Do you have any words of wisdom, Scott?
I will not fear. Fear is the mind killer.
Father!
Dune is the mind killer. Oh my fucking
The
God.
pain! All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
I think I'd rather stick my hand in that fucking box than watch that movie again.
Well, now you don't have to. You don't ever have to watch it again.
Until we review it again.
Until I don't see how that would happen unless we do another
I don't
show.
Either. I don't either.
Yes.
But you never know.
We should put out a poll for the movie, because I'm doing a get-together for friends. This has nothing to do with the show, but we are showing a movie outdoors. And we always have people vote, and then the voting goes well, but then they stop voting, and then we end up picking the movie anyway. Anyway.
I think you should put all the movies on the list, and then when they'll vote, and we just pick a movie that's not even on the list. Fuck them.
Yeah, why not? They're coming for free food anyway. Free food and alcohol.
That's why I'm there.
That's why, yeah, that date is coming. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.